Coming up today on Good Morning BU.
Sweden saw its deadliest mass shooting this week that left multiple people dead and several people injured.
And Josh Kraft officially joins in the race against Mayor Michelle Wu to be Boston's next mayor.
A BU employee's post criticizing 6 Doge employees sparks outrage online after going viral on X.
Find out who the Terriers will face when they hit the ice Monday for this year's Beanpot Championship.
And see how our very own correspondent spent her semester abroad.
Live from Studio West in the College of Communication, Good Morning BU starts right now. Hello and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Good Morning BU. I'm Sydney Toff.
And I'm Kara Mim. Here are today's top stories. President Donald Trump is in the early stages of upholding his campaign promise to end the Ukraine conflict. Trump had his first phone conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin since taking office, calling it, quote, highly productive. This move marks a departure from previous U.S. efforts to isolate Russia and has raised concerns among European allies and Ukrainian officials. Trump has also signed an executive order to give tech billionaire Elon Musk more power with the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. They'll work with federal agencies to cut jobs and limit hiring under his order. Musk's appointment has sparked legal challenges from 14 state attorneys suing Trump for illegally appointing Musk without Senate confirmation. Amid the multiple lawsuits they're facing, a federal judge issued a court order preventing DOGE from accessing Treasury Department records.
The presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, are we in a democracy? Well, if
we watched that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this.
In a more local lens, a Boston federal judge allowed the Trump administration's bid to offer deferred resignations to remote federal workers on Wednesday. About 75,000 employees accepted what's being called the buyout plan and will leave their government positions in September. The Office of Personnel Management said they were pleased with the ruling.
I got elected on making government better, more efficient, and smaller. And that's what we're doing. And I think it was a very generous buyout, actually.
Trump gained another political victory just yesterday in a 52-48 vote. The Senate confirmed Trump's nomination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Kennedy became a key ally in Trump's campaign with his pledge to, quote, make America healthy again by banning certain chemicals used in food production. However, Kennedy faced criticism for spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine, such as falsely stating, quote, autism does come from vaccines. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell was the only Republican to oppose Kennedy's confirmation.
Moving overseas, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continues, but Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned on Tuesday that if the militant group does not release more hostages on Saturday, Israel will resume fighting. Hamas has released 21 hostages in exchange for more than 730 Palestinian prisoners in a little more than a month. If both sides continue to honor the ceasefire, leaders now face the question of where to house displaced Palestinians. In a meeting with Jordan's king on Tuesday, President Trump said he would not withhold U.S. aid to neighboring countries if they refuse to take in the refugees.
Back in the U.S., a new administrative policy proposes limiting research through the National Institution of Health to 15%. All university labs, equipment, and staff will be affected by this deduction. Harvard University, along with other world-class research institutions, is expecting a budget cut down to 1/6 of the original amount. Like their liberal counterparts, red state universities are pushing back against the budget cuts. Representatives from Alabama and Kentucky affirm the universities are, quote, economic engines in their respective states and worry about the scientific setback this could yield for America. Amid a trying time for the future of education, this collective resistance marks the most widespread opposition the Trump administration has faced.
Issues surrounding the Federal Aviation Administration have continued to rise. as 3 deadly plane crashes have occurred within the last 10 days. The White House has pledged to take action, but concerns remain about whether these measures will come in the time to prevent another disaster. Since January 29th, 84 people have been killed in air accidents. Investigations are underway as officials search for answers.
Starbucks is facing a new lawsuit as Missouri's Attorney General Andrew Bailey alleges that the company's race and sex-based hiring practice violates state and federal laws. This litigation comes weeks after Trump signed an executive order ending diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the country. Trump encouraged the private sector to end illegal discrimination practices such as DEI. The complaint claims that Starbucks' flawed hiring is based on DEI rather than who is most qualified for the position. Starbucks says these allegations are inaccurate and that their hiring is both open to everyone and lawful. Complaints say these hiring practices have led to Starbucks' increasing wait times and prices.
Following another executive order signed by Trump, Google Maps now shows the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America for app users in the United States. Google said that users in Mexico will continue to see the earlier title, and users everywhere else in the world will see both titles. In addition to this recent change, users recently began noticing that some holidays and national observances were removed from Google Calendar, including Black History Month and Pride Month. A spokesperson for Google said maintaining hundreds of moments from different countries in their global calendar was unsustainable. In 2024, Google returned to showing only public holidays and national observances recognized globally.
In more internet-related news, social media has erupted in widespread grief after the language learning platform Duolingo announced the death of its beloved mascot on Tuesday. Duolingo's bright green owl, best known for his snarky tweets and TikToks, rose to stardom after a viral meme in 2017. And since then, Duo has become a social media star, spearheading trends and encouraging the app's more than 100 million users to complete their daily lessons. However, Duolingo has hinted at a possible return to the beloved green icon. And additionally, TikTok is back to the Apple and Google app stores in the US as of Thursday night. Its much-awaited return arrives almost a month after its initial removal, following a national security law calling for a ban. Although TikTok was off the app stores, users who didn't delete the app were still able to access it after Trump said he would postpone the ban enforcement. An executive order has since been signed to extend the law's deadline by 75 days to April 5th. Up next, how a funding freeze is affecting Mira citizenship services and what Massachusetts' right to repair law means for car owners. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that the big homie needs help too. That you can't just rebound from everything. I know you've been grinding.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. I wonder why we waited so long. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind. Let's see how far we can go.
Welcome back. V-Day in front of Flower Shop. That's where our George Lehman is, finding all the newest things on what's going on Valentine's Day and what Boston University students are thinking. George, what's going on?
Good morning, Sydney, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody in the studio. So we're actually here with one BU student. Could you please introduce yourself to us?
I'm Nathaniel Barrett.
Thank you so much, Daniel. So I just want to ask you, so with it being Valentine's Day, what are your thoughts on the holiday?
Yeah, so I'm not really a fan of the holiday. I really don't think love should be something that's like commodified by our capitalist overlords.
That's a really interesting perspective. Do you want to explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, like I feel like love is something that comes from like inside, like you can't attach a material value to it. And moreover, some people may not have like the money to be able to afford like gifts for their loved ones. So there's definitely kind of like some inequities which inherently exist in the holiday.
I see. So with that in mind, how do you plan on spending your Friday on Valentine's Day?
Well, I am actually single, so if anyone's interested, please hit me up. Can usually be found wearing this orange jacket. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And once again, happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and back to you in the studio.
Thanks, George. The Massachusetts Immigration and Refugee Advocacy Coalition, MIRA, is cutting back its services because of frozen funds. The Trump administration paused $300,000 in funding for the program. MIRA, which includes clinics, classes, and citizenship interview prep, was notified by an email from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services that funds were, quote, immediately and indefinitely frozen. Because of the freeze, the coalition expects longer wait times and less unpaid services for local immigrants who use MIRA services.
The bus lane on Boylston Street in Back Bay is set to be removed after it was installed last summer. On Wednesday, after hearing from the community, Mayor Michelle Wu said the bus lane is not decreasing traffic flows as planned. The lane was supposed to make a clear path for bus drivers because drivers were regularly using it as a driving lane and parking space instead. The bicycle lane on the street will remain, and the city will move towards reallocating that space for needs specific to the area.
Mass General Brigham hospitals plan to use drones to deliver medical supplies as part of a first responder drone program. The goal of the drones is to provide emergency medical supplies before human first responders arrive at the scene. Mass Gen previously announced they are working with Canadian drone manufacturer Dragonfly on the program and on a different program to deliver medical supplies as part of their home hospital program. It is likely there will be more drone programs actually coming to Boston in the near future. The Federal Flight Administration granted Dragonfly a waiver in late January, allowing their drones to fly over pedestrians and vehicles unaffiliated with their program. Dragonfly CEO Cameron Chell says this waiver will allow the company to improve, quote, safety, efficiency, and innovation with other new drone programs.
Lawyers for Karen Reed, who is facing second-degree murder charges in a high-profile retrial, are fighting to keep a canine expert off the stand. In a motion filed this week in Norfolk Superior Court, Reed's attorneys urged the judge to block the expert's testimony, which aims to undermine their claim that dog bites caused the victim's arms injury. The motion targets Dr. James W. Crosby, arguing that he is not a physician and lacks the qualifications to evaluate the injuries. Instead, they argue that Dr. Marie Russell, their own expert, is far more qualified. In related news, State Police Trooper Michael Proctor, whose crude text messages about Reed damaged the prosecution's case, sent another combative message after the first trial ended. Proctor's text, including misogynistic comments, led to his suspension without pay. His internal hearing resumed this week, and state police will soon decide on any further discipline.
A new report revealed Massachusetts failed to ensure local school districts provide students with disabilities the services and protections required under federal law. Now, $340 million in federal funding are at risk. The report conducted by the U.S. Department of Education identifies 10 violations of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, including delayed evaluations, lack of enforcement, and inadequate oversight of private placements. Acting Commissioner Russell Johnston said his agency will, quote, work to continue closely with schools and districts on strengthening our system for special education, unquote. Advocates say these findings confirm the same systemic failures they have been calling the public's attention to for years and demand immediate action to protect all students' rights. Listen, there's a lot of weather to catch up on since the recent snowstorm. Our correspondent Maria Pemberton, what should we expect this week?
Thanks, Sydney. Staying in Massachusetts, let's prep your small talk for today and learn about the forecast. Love is in the air, and so is a chill. Stay warm with your Valentine today, as temperatures will peak around 31 degrees with a mix of sun and wind. And tonight, they will dip all the way down to 15 degrees with clouds. Looking ahead to Saturday, expect more clouds with a high of 31 and a low of 25. We are keeping an eye on a wintry mix Saturday night into Sunday morning, with possible snow accumulations of 5 to 8 inches. Sunday will bring rain with a high of 40 degrees and a low of 21. Love is sweet, but the weather sure is bitter this weekend. Is the snow going to affect your guys' plans this weekend?
Ugh.
I think a little bit.
Snow.
We have sorority recruitment this weekend, and I know for me, I'm going to be in long dresses and really high heels. So me being clumsy, the chances of high snow are also the high chance of me falling as well.
Oh, I hope I see that. But yeah, I'm inside all day, so it won't be too bad. But yeah, getting between places, I'm going to have to bundle up in my long blue jacket.
Good luck to you guys. There are definitely some pros and cons to it.
No, for sure. And thank you, Maria. On that chilly note, let's warm up with a break.
Our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce. We all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
It's important to get a flu shot each and every year because flu viruses are constantly changing and immunity from the vaccine decreases over time. Flu vaccines are updated annually to work against that year's viruses. The best time to get your shot is in the fall, but getting it later can still help. Getting a flu shot lowers your risk of getting sick, and if you do happen to get flu, it's likely to be less severe.
Welcome back. Students can escape Sunday's rain by attending a town hall meeting at 2 p.m. in the Howard Thurman Center. The Young Democratic Socialist Association and the BU Resistance Network will host the free town hall meeting for students to come together and speak about the issues they are currently facing on campus and the power of unity amidst Trump's conservative administration. Students can sign up for the event through the Eventbrite linked on their social media.
In other on-campus news, the Boston University Trustees Committee voted against divesting its endowment from any funds related to human rights violations in the Middle East. The petitions were backed by the group BU Students for Justice in Palestine and passed in student government with a 36 to 28 majority. BU Students for Israel responded that the bill singles out Israel in a way that risks sounding anti-Semitic. While divestment is no longer up for debate, President Melissa Gilliam said she, quote, will continue to seek ways that our community can engage with political issues of our day with tolerance and respect for one another.
Boston University's own comm professor, Professor Aaron Kopp, is nominated for an Oscar in the Best Live Action Short category for his producing work, An Anuja. The short, which is featured on Netflix, sheds light on a child labor by following the lives of two young sisters.
तू तो समझदार है ना? है कि नहीं?
सिक्योरिटी
As I mentioned previous, Cobb was nominated for a couple other things in the past. The Hunting Ground in 2015 and Saving Face in 2012, which took home an Oscar and an Emmy. So be sure to tune into this Oscars year on March 2nd to see Aaron Kopp take home potentially another Oscar for his work.
How exciting! And continuing with the theme of BU success stories, Warren Towers is receiving a much-needed renovation. Our campus correspondent, Courtney Knight, visited the dormitory to give us the inside scoop.
Boston University's largest traditional-style residence, Warren Towers, is receiving a $550 million facelift. The building that's been home to many BU students for nearly 60 years is going through a 3-year renovation plan that started this past January and is set to be completed by 2028. All three 18-story towers are gaining new facilities such as modernized escalators, a renovated dining hall, new plumbing, and air conditioning units in every dorm room. BU's Executive Director for Media Relations, Colin Riley, says that overall, the remodel has students' best interests in mind.
The university cares very much about them, that they're investing tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to complete this and upgrade the university's property. Again, 15 million square feet of buildings that require hundreds of facilities workers to maintain, trade workers to keep the equipment good.
However, some students, like freshman Mukum Balaji, say they are annoyed by the distractions the construction causes on their daily routines.
It's mainly impacted me because a lot of the work is just really loud work. There's a crane that's today morning, actually. It was distracting me from my my work for one of my classes.
Others say they are frustrated with the lack of communication between faculty and students and say their complaints are not being heard.
Hopefully the university puts out a statement saying what's happening, when it's happening, how long, because I've learned everything from outside sources rather than the school itself, so that's pretty annoying.
BU's campus planning and operations says renovations to Tower A and the dining hall should be ready in the fall semester of 2026, Tower B in 2027, and Tower C is to be completed in the fall semester of 2028. Weekly updates on the renovations are available on the project's website. Reporting for GMBU, I'm Courtney Knight.
Thanks, Courtney. When we come back, find out how the men's hockey team won their 32nd Beanpot Trophy and how the women's team are keeping up in the Hockey East standings. Don't go anywhere.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back. For the first time in 3 years, the BU men's ice hockey team are Beanpot champions, making this their 32nd title. Our sports correspondent, Alexa Podolsky, is here to break it down. Alexa, what do you think of the game and how did it happen?
Well, Kara, after losing both regular season games to Boston College, I wasn't sure the Terriers could pull it off. But this year's Beanpot was absolutely electric. BC hit the ice with a winning mentality. Gabe Perreault scored 6 minutes in, and by the end of the first period, it was a miracle that the Eagles didn't score again. That was thanks to BU's new freshman goalkeeper, Mikhail Yegorov. Keep his name in mind because we'll touch more on that later. Brandon Savoda put BU on the board in the second period off a breakaway. He flew down the ice and fired the puck over BC's nationally ranked goalkeeper, Jacob Fowler. Look at that, he didn't even see it coming. The Terriers took the lead a minute later. Cole Hudson, Camille Bednarik, and Tom Willender cycled the puck through traffic, and Hudson found an open window in the net's top left corner. At that point, the Terriers switched from Beanpot underdogs to the night's favored winners. Cole Eiserman added to the freshman class's dominance with 6 minutes left on the clock. Here comes Eiserman, breaking up BC's attempt to regroup, picked the pass off, and skated straight for Fowler. Boom! There's the rocket straight to the back corner. And you can't forget about Gavin McCarthy stealing BC's fate from the other side of the ice. If you saw BC sweep BU at the end of January, you might be wondering how they went from giving up 8 goals to winning the Beanpot. And the answer is in Yegorov's mitt. The 18-year-old goalkeeper and future New Jersey Devil joined the Terrier squad at the end of January, starting the season on the U.S. Hockey League's Omaha Lancers. He made a whopping 43 saves in the championship game and won the Eberle Award for having the highest save percentage throughout the tournament. Cole Hudson won the tournament's MVP award for his 3-goal, 1-assist performance. The Beanpot Trophy could be the first of many that the Terriers earn this year, but we'll have to wait and see if they can keep it up. Back to you, Sydney.
BU is putting a twist on the classic Romeo and Juliet. Arts and entertainment correspondent Claire Chen gives us a behind-the-scenes look at the upcoming play.
Okay.
What else?
This April, the Boston University Shakespeare Society is putting on a one-of-a-kind production of Romeo and Juliet, directed by sophomore Megan Amato. Running from April 3rd to the 5th, Amato's interpretation will bring something new to this classic tale of love and fate.
Honestly, I was trying to think of shows that lended themselves to being visually stunning. It's a story that everybody knows, which gives you the opportunity to do something really cool with it.
The play is well known for its star-crossed lovers, but the team is taking a unique approach to the theme of fate.
I took the idea of predetermination and fate and destiny and being bound to somebody, and I personified it.
In Amato's production, she created an entirely new character named Fate, who will be a main part of the show. Freshman Olivia Ruzick, cast as Juliet, said she is eager to bring a fresh take to the iconic character.
I think what a lot of people miss is they see Juliet as the fragile 14-year-old girl, but I think what a lot of people miss in the text is that she's got a lot of wit. She's clever and she has feelings and she stands up for herself, and I really want to bring that out in her.
Jonathan Sullivan, a freshman playing Romeo, said he is also eager to take on this well-known role.
It's certainly the most well-known Shakespeare role that I've done so far. It's the first real heroic character that I've ever played, so I'm looking forward to that challenge.
Amato aims to blend medieval and futuristic elements for a unique aesthetic.
We decided the term we're going with our vision is medieval futurism. The costumes are going to be this really cool combination of medieval and then these weird futuristic elements.
Tickets will go on sale at the end of March, posted on the BU Shakespeare Society Instagram.
As Juliet said, parting is such sweet sorrow. But I hope to see you all again at the Student Theater for Romeo and Juliet this April. For GMBU, I'm Claire Chen.
Thanks, Claire. You know, Cupid is hard to track down, so we're turning to other sources this Valentine's Day. We have our residential tarot card reader here, Willow Bullington, here to hold all the answers to see what is Kara's destiny this love season.
Welcome, Willow. I'm so excited to hear my future, my fate, my destiny. I mean, usually I go to my roommates, my friends, but I like to look towards more of a professional this time.
I'm so excited to be here and so honored that you picked me. I'm basically going to have you start. Again, this is very professional. I've been doing this honestly since I was born. But what I'm going to have you do first is split the deck.
Perfect. Can we go right here?
Yes, of course. So the first card is going to be your pass. Okay, and then I'm just going to have you
pick my next.
Pick your next. Yes, this is going to be your present.
That feels right.
Okay, that feels right. Okay, I'm glad. And then I'm just pick anywhere for
I'm
the
gonna
future.
close my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I really.
No, maybe I should look.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this feels futuristic.
Whatever you're feeling. Okay, perfect. So we're going to start with your pass. Okay, so first we have Grace Codington. And this is basically something I see in you staying true to your vision. Okay. That's something that I feel like is a very Kara quality. Something that you've clearly learned as you've grown as a person. Okay, this is your present. Cindy Crawford, obviously.
Love her.
Oh yes, of course. You know, supermodel starts with a capital S. So what can I say? Always hold your head high, Kara. This is the future. I'm so excited. We have Richard Avedon.
Okay.
That is mystical and magical.
Okay.
If in doubt, add elephants.
And my future love is going to be an elephant?
No, you have to be able to look and say, maybe I should add something I'm not used to adding into my life.
Okay.
I think that's the key.
So look outside of the box.
Look outside of the box, maybe to an elephant cage.
Okay.
That could be where you
maybe a zookeeper.
A zookeeper's wife. This is perfect.
You know what? That's
We've determined it. I'm so excited.
Well, thank you, Willow.
Of
now
course,
I'm
it's
on
my
the right
pleasure.
path and I have to visit the
God.
Boston Zoo.
Yes, this is so
Massachusetts.
exciting.
Go to every zoo, every state zoo. Go back to Pittsburgh.
San Diego, Baltimore.
All of them.
Hit all the spots, all the capitals.
Well, thank you for joining us,
Of
Willow.
course.
I'll be, using that in the future.
Thank you for having me.
And back to you, Sydney.
You know, Kara, I'm glad to hear that one of us is finding some hopeful love in this upcoming year. It's a great time to be at BU. Hopefully there's Valentine's Day up in the air and we all have some Valentine's Day plans. From all of us here at Good Morning BU, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sydney Toff. Make sure to tune in next week.